Hey, community, here's what's brewing today.
Weekends with Adele.
Rihanna halftime performance.
And Kerel, bring your black ass back to this podcast. So get your cups ready for Minority Report.
Not
Hey,
her being two beats off.
girl, per usual, absolutely. Hey, community, welcome to Minority Report. It's Auntie Jerrell.
It's Auntie Dawon.
And it's Auntie Late Landon.
Very late landing. And you notice that we have a different voice starting the episode. Auntie Kerel ain't here. The girl is in
Mm-mm.
Belize living her best life. She on a cruise, posting all the cute photos, having a great
Yes.
ass time.
Uh-huh.
But
And
honey,
left us
But
with this
still,
mess.
girl, community. So let us get into it. Let us get into.
right
So first
now.
of all, for all y'all that's been rocking with us, this is the first time in almost 4 years that Auntie Kerel has not been a part of an episode, nor
Mhm.
has she been the one behind the scenes getting the girls together. Okay,
Honey,
but
it was
Auntie
a mission
Dewan,
today. It was a mission
honey, let me
today.
tell you, this is why we give Auntie Kerel her flowers when we be talking about the end of the year and how much we're grateful for her because y'all, the struggle was real. First off, didn't even
Was.
know it is. You're right. It is. It is. Because we don't even know what this is gonna sound like afterwards. So again,
Mm-mm.
good luck.
Ooh, Mary.
But didn't even know where we were going to do like the video. So we were like, who got the link? We were all just looking at each other. It was like the Spider-Man gif where you see the three Spider-Mans pointing at each other. It was three of us being like, "You got it? Are you gonna do it? You gonna do
And
it?"
you know damn well I ain't got it.
We damn well, but
No,
just in
yeah,
case.
that for sure. We know that.
Girl, it was a mess. So then we figured out, all right, cool. We got into StreamYard. We figured it out. Then all of a sudden, everyone got technical issues. Landon Mike is doing the choppy, hot, hot, hot. Granted, she already loud, but the mic really couldn't handle her. Then Auntie Dewan was like, bitch, I've been working. Mines ain't working. Honey, y'all, this is going to be a spicy ass episode. I just,
Yeah.
Like
I mean, we're gonna give you
literally,
the content, but it's gonna be
right.
crunchy. I'm just gonna say
And
that.
and and like we started what like an hour ago, and we're just now recording. Like it took us, it took us a good 45 to 60 minutes for us to get to this point.
we say all this to
Girl.
say,
We
Karel,
love you, girl.
nigga, stay your ass at home. No, stay your ass at home. This is your first and your last vacation, bitch.
Yo,
Let me
first
tell
and
you.
last.
This is why niggas don't go nowhere, okay?
Yeah.
Because we leave the house and shit fall
This ain't
apart.
it. This ain't it.
Look, I felt like she didn't left the podcast with a babysitter. We like barely keeping the child alive.
So
Yeah.
forgive us in advance if this shit sound crack, cause it is what it is.
Yeah, and there she go. Exhibit A. Exhibit A.
Not
But you
the
know what?
internet.
And listen, and I
Right.
don't care, and I don't care. It is what it is. What can I do?
Yeah.
She don't
But
care because she a guest. She can go.
thank you. Exactly.
Right.
She
Like,
said, "It ain't my face."
right. She's like,
Hey,
I'm just a stand-in.
hey, I'm just
Call me Cherry
Solange.
Shepherd.
I'm just Solange. Okay, I'm just Solange over here.
Not
Okay,
Shalon. Not
Solange,
Shalon.
Oh,
Solange,
she
whatever.
she added a whole H to it. Okay, bitch.
I'm done.
Solange,
I'm done.
Solange, whatever. Yeah, that's me.
Girl, don't put some respect on her name. Don't whatever Solange, okay?
Solange.
Because I still rocking seat at the table. So, just saying.
Yes. But honestly, that is my favorite. Well, it's what? That's like an EP.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like my honestly, my favorite collection of music of hers altogether. Full
Same.
stop. Like I don't need to listen to anything else.
Yeah, it's so good. I still try to support the other things as well, her other projects. But I'm ready for her to put some new music out too. I wonder after B does everything this summer with the tour and stuff like that, if we're gonna start seeing some music from Solange, because
Yeah,
it's about time. It's about time.
it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Well, she's and she said something to the effect of she's diving more into the space of like performance art.
Oh,
Mm.
really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
okay.
she's like really getting centered and creating herself artistically and not necessarily falling into like mainstream um, distribution of like or expression of art. So
Okay.
we
Okay.
might be her next anything might be her like doing the the White Lotus theme song.
Stop. If I hear that song one more time, I am going to lose my shit. There's nothing like some white gays making something so basic, something more than it is. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, how was this really a thing? But I do gotta say though, pivoting to music,
Oh,
we
here we
gotta talk
go.
about the Super Bowl halftime show. We
Yes.
have to, girl. I got so many mixed emotions. I got so many mixed emotions. But I'll let y'all go first before I get canceled first. So I'm gonna let y'all go first.
Wow. Dawon, you go first.
I actually liked it. I liked it.
Okay.
Well, and let me say this caveat: I had an edible, so
One of the ones, one of
I
those
could have
ones that
been.
we had in Vegas.
Yeah, but it was like stronger than that.
Oh shit, bitch. We're gonna have to talk
Ooh.
about that too. But yeah.
Yeah, I actually really liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I was curious as to why she wasn't bringing out any special guests, and then obviously we find out that the special guest was her and her baby. So I was down for that. Um, I like the whole like Super Mario game aspect of it. Like the little levels flying up in the air. I was just waiting for, and they had the little like, all the dancers were all wearing like the white crop puffers and all the white stuff, and she was the only person that was in any kind of color, and it kind of like reminded me of like a video game from back in the day.
Okay. Okay. All right. Honestly, I thought you would have had an issue with it, but okay, I loved it. That edible might have been real good. Was it more than that
It,
25 milligram one that you
oh
gave me?
yeah, oh
Okay,
yeah,
see, bitch was in
it was
orbit.
it was
She
that.
was in orbit. Okay.
Now,
Mm.
and mind you, this is not like me saying like, oh, I thought it was like the best performance ever because I
Hmm.
don't like.
Yeah.
Obviously, her singing was crunchy to the degree that she was doing live singing because I imagine most of it was like pre-recorded or whatever. Um, she wasn't doing any kind of moving around. She got a baby, so
Hmm.
she walked, she turned, she blinked,
Wow.
and that was about the no, I mean that was about the end of it. So,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it was the best performance ever, but like performance as a whole in terms of the spectacle and using of like the space and like having it being like really like a performance, I
Hmm.
felt the energy of it and like the songs were kind of like just a throwback because it's all the stuff that I really loved. And there were
Yeah.
obviously some songs that I would have liked her to have, incorporated in there, but all in all, it's just like I was just glad to see her out there doing something,
Something.
something,
I know
right?
that's right. Landon,
Because
what?
she is not known for being like a massive, like crisp performer to begin with. So I had
Yes.
my expectations were even Steven with what she had delivered in the past.
That's fair. That's fair. 100%.
That's
Okay.
fair.
All
That's
right,
fair.
now. Landon, how about you, girl?
I am a huge Rihanna fan. I know that some people, have their girls. Y'all have Beyonce. I'm a huge Rihanna stan. So, excuse me. So in
It's
my
always the girls
opinion,
that can't dance that like. Go ahead.
listen. Hush your mouth and listen.
You got the wrong moderator today. I
You
love
got,
this job, girl.
listen. You not, let me tell you what you're not gonna do. You not gonna come for my girl Rihanna. That's what you're not gonna do on your own podcast. Okay, I'm gonna let you know that right now. Um, I love Rihanna. I always have, and I thought her performance was amazing. I got goosebumps at Diamonds and Umbrella just because that's just those are just my songs. Those are my theme songs. And if you don't like it, that's just too damn bad. But what I will tell you is that people who criticize her performance can barely get up off the couch without giving old man sounds. So before y'all bitches come for her, y'all need to go see a chiropractor because she did most.
Glass houses.
Listen, she did more than what most people can do. And as someone who works in a field of art, I work as a group fitness instructor. It's hard to get up on that stage and do what we do sometimes. So I have 1000% respect for what she did in her pregnant state. And I just enjoy Rihanna. I love her music. I love her vibe. I do agree with Dawon that it wasn't anything like spectacular, crazy, like nothing like awe-inspiring, but I liked it. I loved it. She can do no wrong in my book, except like one song that I was not feeling, which was Wild Thoughts. I'm like, you could have done without that. But for the most part, it's an A in my book.
I didn't know. Okay.
What'd you say?
That was a song that I didn't know because there was a point where I was like, "Is this the new song?" And I just because I don't really listen to her stuff like cover to cover. So
Yeah.
and she hasn't come out with anything in a minute. So, what about you, Boo?
I have mixed emotions, and I feel like, what is it? Is it Rihanna's Army or whatever they call them, the Fenty Squad or whatever they call? I didn't really feel it, if I'm being honest. I get that she was pregnant, and I get that she's not known for entertaining and being like a dancer performer. And someone actually posted a video of her at the 2016 VMAs when she got that award, and she did that like 10-minute performance there. And I realized even then the choreography was giving just as much then as it did then, which is a little shoulder here, a little hip twirl here, and I come in and do a little kick to the side and drag my foot back in. So it gave what I expected. Also, she hasn't been on the stage for 7 years too, so I also had to remember to like lower my own expectations of what to expect of her too, because you can't go 7 years without releasing any music, without performing, and then have this expectation that she's up there as well.
That's
too.
fair.
So
That's
I
fair.
had to remind myself of those two things. She delivered what she is known for, and I can't compare her to someone else like a Beyonce because those are just two different lanes. So that's more on me. The part that I criticize of the performance is just, if you are not going to give so much because you're pregnant, and you also don't give that much as is individually, then you should have brought out other performers. You should have entertained more in other aspects. And that's a good way to bring in other people who their lane is to do those things. I think about like Coldplay, who has a niche, and his thing is just to kind of jump around the stage, and there isn't like some control. But what did he do? He brought out two performers, Bruno Mars and Beyonce, who are performers who likes to bring things in, Also, that's when Beyonce did Formation as well too. So it was a whole spectacle then as well too. So you can bring in people to also add to the Super Bowl that doesn't necessarily take away from you. Think about the Super Bowl last year. There was Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent. Was Eminem there? Eminem there as well. Mary J. Blige.
Mary J.
Right. So my point that I'm making is, it doesn't have to fall solely on your shoulders to be the only performer on that stage. And it's not like you don't have hits, Rihanna, with other people that you could have easily called upon who ain't doing shit. All the people who she has collaborations with are literally not doing anything right now. None of them have music out currently right now. Not a single one. And Jay-Z was in the fucking building. So to me, it don't make no sense why she didn't do that. But for it just to be her, she gave something, and she gave what was typically her, and kudos to her.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was kind of hoping that she would do Disturbia and do her little like wiggle jiggle. And if y'all aren't watching on YouTube, you got to get into the YouTube, because that's half the fun. But I was kind of hoping that she would do that, just because how like Dua Lipa will like do the Dua Lipa jiggle or whatever. It's like
yes,
very,
her
like,
trying to get her foot in her sneaker.
Right. Yeah, and there's something very like endearing about that, but I know that's not really like cool. And Rihanna's just like that chick that's like more into like being like cool and original and blah blah blah. But I thought that would have been a fun moment.
Yeah.
Um, and I do appreciate the fact that she actually did the entire show by herself because I feel like a lot of Rihanna's stans are have been clamoring to see her, and I almost feel like if she would have shared the stage with a bunch of other people, that would have been a criticism. Like, damn, you ain't even coming out with any music, and you're sharing the stage with a whole bunch of other people. Like,
Yeah,
I was
I
I was
see,
down for that.
I see that because she told us without telling us, y'all ain't getting no music anytime soon.
She went
Look, she started
she
off with the
said
baby bump, so she just said, "Shut up,
2
this is
years.
it." She said, "This is it, y'all. This is it."
Yep.
So, I mean,
She said, buckle
to
your
that point,
seatbelts.
yeah, to that point, I respect that too because she basically said, "Yeah, y'all ain't getting shit." So I'm just gonna
And
give
also
you
think about the fact
all of
that
me.
if she had brought out some of those other performers, it may have required her to move in a way that just wasn't authentic to her, considering the fact that she's pregnant. Like with DJ Khaled or with Jay-Z, she may have had to do more choreography than what she could have done being pregnant. I don't know. I'm just
How?
saying.
I mean, the choreo. What she
Listen,
did,
I don't
what
know.
she gave,
I don't know. That's
what
what
she
I'm
gave
saying.
them
You
was
don't
the
know.
bare minimum. Yeah, we
What
did.
I'm saying is you
None
just
of-
don't know.
Name one song that's gonna require more. If anything, all them songs have a reggae tone, which reggaeton music
Umbrella.
make you shake your ass.
Umbrella.
Okay, but even then, you have the drums in the background that can speed up the tempo as well too.
Yes, I
It's not a
understand that.
ballad. It's not.
What I'm saying is that having more performers may have required her to move around in a way that's just not right for her right now with her being pregnant. That's all I'm saying. That's my take on it.
That is a possibility in
A
the realm of things that
possibility.
in the realm of all the things that are possible. That is a
I
possibility.
said
That's
what the
one
fuck
way
I
to say
said.
it. Because I'm sitting here like, girl, like, though, because the truth is, like, she has some bops that are fast tempo, and if she didn't do them on her own songs, I know for a fact she's not going to do them to someone else. And
Can I?
that's one of the thing about Paris's choreography too, is her choreography is like a group choreography. You watch a person do that on their own, it doesn't look as good. But when you got 15 people doing the same thing in unison, it looks pretty. Because if you just look at her
I
doing
get
it, or
that.
just one person looked, it didn't look right. And so
Yeah.
that's why I still kind of feel that if she brought someone else, I don't think Paris would have changed the choreography because that's the style that she kind of choreographs to.
You know who did do that though? The sign language chick.
Bitch.
Like she, honey, sign her.
Literally.
Sign her. Sign
Okay.
her. She needs more than a check because the internet ate her up. She did her thing. She was into it, and I love it. And I actually really love the fact that that artists are incorporating sign language artists
Mhm.
who are getting
Yeah.
just as much shine out of them embodying the music and being all into it and whatnot while still giving people who are deaf and need
Yeah.
That's some real
to,
inclusivity
to
shit. Like that right
yeah,
there.
Mhm.
and but they're also giving you a show because,
Yeah.
Right.
honey, I could
She
have watched her for
bodied.
half of the show.
Okay. Okay. She ate. She left no crumbs. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's who should have been the real choreographer. But I will say this though. I will say this though. Here's the other thing. Dawon and I also saw Adele like 2 nights before. So granted, Adele does not dance. She still delivered above expectations. Okay. So when you have someone exceeds your expectations, and then you go to another person who is high profile and dearly beloved and all that shit, and they don't meet it, it's hard not to.
You went to a concert so you feel that energy versus watching her on TV. How is that the same?
It wasn't even about the energy, honey. It wasn't even about the energy. It was just about the deliverance from the actual. from Rihanna herself. Here's the best part
But
that I
to
liked
compare
about
it to
Rihanna
Adele
is
that
that
you had
she
just saw in
sounded great.
person.
She sounded great. Rihanna sounded great. That was probably the
Right.
best part of the performance for me, is that she sounded great, even though she had some backtrack with her and some vocals with her. But when she did sing, she sounded great, and I appreciate that the most. But I'm not comparing them as the same artist. I'm talking about the deliverance of what they do individually. Okay. And I just didn't get from what I wanted out of Rihanna for someone who had been gone so long. Like, to me, I wanted my edges to be gone, like yours.
They're
Landon.
already
Like,
gone, girl.
I wanted
Not the
to
rude.
I wanted to, I wanted to be left gooped and gagged, I felt like once it was over, I was just like, okay. I wanted something to talk about afterwards because it had been so long, and she did not give that for me. The memes and the internet did. The internet gave me what I needed.
Yeah, they did. They went in.
Because they
I
were
feel
living.
like even in the low mobility, there was also a little bit of a lack of like energy altogether. And there's the reality of it is that there's reasons behind it, because she's
Yeah.
pregnant. That
That's
bone
what I
in
was
the
trying to
oven
say
is
earlier.
sucking up all the energy that she has. So for someone who is, and I don't know how far along she is, she's probably what, like 6 months, something like that.
Well,
5,
didn't she
6
just
months.
give birth in May though?
That's why the internet's saying that's why they call him
ASAP.
ASAP. Makes sense.
Like, god damn.
Right now. Because they usually say give about 6 months before you go back in there, but you said, no, I'm shooting this club up tomorrow.
Not Pond the Replay, bitch.
Wow.
So like I give her, I honestly, like, in the midst of all that, she probably penned this deal like well before the pregnancy was even a factor. They probably had to like pare back a lot once she found out, because it didn't make sense for her to back out and whatnot. And I think that given the lower, I don't want to say low energy, but the lower energy, I think the only thing that I was really missing was a little bit more sexiness from Rihanna. We got the cool part, but like I wanted a little bit more of the sexiness. I also feel like the way that it was shot, because they were using a lot of those stadium cams, and they can zoom in and zoom out and whatnot, and it looks all like whatever. But I feel like it reminded me a lot of her Fenty shows, because her Fenty shows are almost like one continuous shot going from area to area to area. And it was very much like that. Like, it was almost one continuous shot, zooming in and zooming out and like all that kind of stuff. So that was kind of cool. But, I give her props, props for like being up there and,
Same.
and being pregnant and giving, 100% of whatever you got. Props to all the folks that were on the platforms, like I was holding my breath, like, is somebody going to fall? Because that is some crazy stuff. Like, back in the day, they used to have like cranes to put people in the air.
Yeah.
Now they put people up in the air with like fucking
With some
hovercrafts on their
wires.
shoes and, and a parachute. Be like, okay, well,
Not me.
pull this
Not me.
That's the real tea. That's what that big old coat was. It was an emergency parachute. That's why she put it back on when she got back on the damn thing. You know that when she got off, she took it off.
And actually, I love that, because I found out afterwards, I was reading an article that was an homage to Andre Leon Talley.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. So,
that was really cute.
That's my little fashion idol. I'm gonna be here one day.
You literally said that this past weekend.
So can we rewind for the weekend?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the next transition.
Yes,
So
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It was so good to see you. Oh, it was a great time.
So first things first. Not last weekend, but the week prior, we went to San Diego with some friends, and then spent most of the time in Palm Springs. So last week's episode was recorded while we were in Palm Springs. And then we drove from Palm Springs to Vegas to meet up with our girls, and in true Dawon fashion, because I don't remember dates, I don't remember times. I was stuck on Fizz and Jerrell getting into Vegas at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, damn, we're 4 hours away. We would have to leave at the butt crack of dawn in order for us, because we rented a car, so we were just going to pick them up and then go to the
Yeah.
Airbnb. So I'm like texting him like, well, I don't know if we're gonna be able to make it. And Jerrell was being so nice. He was like, oh, boo, it's okay. No worries. We can just Uber. We can make it work. And da 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 da. And I was like, no, we got to figure this out. It's like, I know your plane's supposed to be landing at 11 o'clock, but I talked to the Airbnb and we can get an early entry. And he goes, no, we don't. No, we get in at 1. It's like, what? Oh, so we got time. We got time. So we done drove all the way from Vegas. I'm sorry, all the way from Palm Springs to Vegas. We got to the Airbnb, dropped our stuff off, and then as soon as we dropped our stuff off, we get the text, bitch, I'm on it. We landed right now. And then we came, we got them, and then the rest is history.
Girl, we hit the ground running. We got to the house, went through like 3 bottles of wine. We basically went through a whole case of White Claw. And then this bitch took an edible. All this
immediately.
Going to Adele. And this then all this before.
This was between 12:30 when we got y'all, and
no, y'all got us at like 2:30.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
It's like 2:30 and 6 o'clock. So in literally 3.5 hours, went through like 3 bottles and a box of White Claws between 4 of us. Like, girl, we were. So then,
but we really haven't. All 4 of us haven't been together in the same room for, I think, 3 years.
So when's the last time?
4 years. The first time we met. The first time that Dawon and I met is the first time that all 4 of us hung out together.
Wait. No. Didn't I come to see you when I had that job opportunity in Seattle?
But Adam didn't come. Adam.
Oh, right. That's right. Before.
Yeah, absolutely. Gotcha. So the first time we got to meet Joan is when we first met you, and Adam came too. That was the last time all 4 of us hung out. Because when you came for that job opportunity, it was just you. And then when we went to Fizz, when we went to New York for Fizz's birthday, Adam wasn't there.
Right.
So this was the first time. So I love that it was like, and we were saying this too, it's crazy that we get together to see Adele in Vegas, and then we're going to get together in Paris to see Beyonce. Like the 2 biggest divas in the game right now is what's bringing us together twice this year. But let's just say this, y'all. We got to the Caesar Palace for the Adele concert, and the bartender, she got us together quick. The glasses, we got the tall glasses because Dawon was like, bitch, yes, I want the 24-ounce hoe. What you think? Duh. And me and the girl looked at each other, we're like, oh, well, say less then. She poured at least half of the cup.
The cup was this big. And she poured, I had a gin and tonic. What did you have? You had
we had vodka sodas.
Vodka sodas, right? And then I think Adam had like a rum and seltzer or something like that. But more than half of the cup, and I'm not even talking about ice, more than half of the cup was liquor. And then she went spritz with just like a little bit of like
a drop.
It was a gay bar pour. It was a gay bar pour.
Yeah.
And we looked at her, we said, oh, she said, y'all know one thing I don't play around is with these drinks. And I said, I like you, because you know these motherfuckers were $30, $40 a piece. And she made sure we got our money's worth for each of those drinks. And literally, that was the only drink we had the whole concert because of how strong they were.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, mind you, we were already lit because we had already been through probably 3 to 4 bottles of wine and a whole case of White Claw. Well, they had the White Claw, we had the wine. So we were feeling pretty good. Now, mind you, no driving was involved. We Uber, so we're being responsible. But when we showed up, we were feeling pretty good. We were just waiting in line to get our drinks or whatever. And by the time we got up to the front of the line, the girl, she was super cool, pulled the drinks and whatnot, and I think I tipped her like $40 or something. Yeah. And I didn't even know because I wasn't even paying attention to how strong the drinks were. It was not until it wasn't until probably after we were in the concert, and the concert was maybe like at the midpoint. I looked over to Adam. I was like, I'm drunk as hell. Drunk as hell. And then Fizz was on a whole other planet.
But she was living her best life. She sat at the edge of her seat the whole time. She knew word for word every single song. You saw her hands going up like this, bitch. She was weighing, girl. I don't think there was a single person in that auditorium that had more fun than her. If I'm being completely honest.
And I might have had a little something to do with it because I gave her one of my edibles.
Yeah, you did give her a little bit of her edible.
That might have
Yeah.
done a little something
Honestly, I think so. But this is how you know you're getting older. Not us finding our seats and cheering that the interest to our section. The bathroom is right there because these bitches had to keep going to the bathroom. And so they were so happy that the bathroom was like 8 rows away. They're like, we can go in real quick.
I went 5 times.
Girl,
Five times to the bathroom.
Can I hear about Adele? Please tell me about Adele.
She did such a phenomenal job. Like, again, this is my second time seeing her, and there was times where I'm not even paying attention to the performance. I'm like watching her mouth and just trying to hear is this her or is this a track behind her? And then you hear her go, and you're like, no, the bitch is live. The mic is on. The mic is on. She sounded so much like her actual tracks. And for that to be, at that time, to her 21st performance of her residency, I'm like, bitch, how are you sustaining this? Like, it is amazing. It was just ridiculous. And it also, one of the things that I wasn't expecting, it was way more lively than I was expecting too. Because she has a lot of sad songs.
Yeah.
But she was like kiki and joking with the crowd. And she said at the beginning, this is not a sit down concert. Y'all can stand up and you can dance. She's like, I only got 4, so when I do them, you better get up. And everyone, with the exception of the 2 old bitches in front of us, got up.
A whole situation.
Bitch, let me tell you. I accidentally kicked their chair before the show even started. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to kick your chair. And she was like, oh, that's okay as long as you don't sing. And I was like, oh, bitch, well, it looks like I won't be kicking your chair at all because I will be singing.
Yep. They were some crotchety old, curmudgeons.
Were they white?
Sitting up there at the concert. They were the type of people that all they wanted to do was sit down and listen to the concert. Meanwhile, it's a concert, so people are getting up out of their chairs. I felt so bad because there was 2 younger girls, and I could tell that this was I don't know if this was their first concert or one of the first concerts, but you could tell that they were having a girls' night. Yes. And it was just the 2 of them. They were probably 19, 20, 22.
I probably say they were probably 22 because they looked like they were barely able to drink.
Right. But they were trying their best to have such a good time. They were singing the songs to each other. They were playing with each other. And every once in a while, the girl that was the closest to these older women that was right next to them, she would bump into the woman and she would say, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And they had the most stank faces on them. And I'm like, this a concert. This ain't church.
You can send your ass home and listen to Spotify, girl.
Right.
Honey.
Right.
Honey.
And the young girl, she turned around and she was like, yeah, I did too. Cause she turned around. She was like, we paid all this money for these tickets. We want to come here and enjoy it. And I was like, girl, so do we.
Enjoy.
That's why we said enjoy. And we got it too because even though we were a little annoyed at some parts, we also understood because we all have been there. You know what I'm saying? It really felt like this was their first big concert. They dropped, because everyone dropped money. We paid $2,400 for these 4 tickets. So it's not like it was a $20 show. Okay.
Right.
So
and we were not front row, but let's be clear.
Okay. Not even. We were at least, 30 yards away from the actual stage, 40 maybe. We were not close, and we still paid a pretty penny. So I can understand these young people being like, hey, I'm in here. This is maybe our first time in Vegas. We're having a good time. Go, sweetie. You live your best life. So those young, the young people I felt bad for because I really wanted them to have a good time. But the white people around just were not getting it. They were not getting it. But
The
But it,
concert was phenomenal. I've liked Adele's songs like, casually. I can't say that I like have ever listened to her albums from cover to cover. I can't
mhm.
say that I ever like go back to like any of her songs and put them on just because I want to listen to, Rolling in the Deep or whatever. Like if I hear it and it's on, that's one thing. But I'm not going back. So I just wanted to go truthfully because I wanted to spend time with my girls. That was really the
Mm.
reason why I was like, because we were even talking about on the podcast. It's like, oh yeah, we should get, we're gonna get Adele taken. Like, oh, say less, I'll be there with you, okay? But it blew every single expectation that I had about what the concert was going to be out of the water. It was a phenomenal show, even for it being in Vegas. I've seen Britney in Vegas. I've seen, um, did I see Janet in Vegas? I think I saw Janet in Vegas. At any rate, I've seen a couple of performances in Vegas, and the sets are not really that great because the stages are not great. The seating space is pretty nice, but like the actual stage is not really that big. So it was a phenomenal experience. And then when they popped the confetti from the ceilings and whatnot, oh my goodness, I was just like, this is what heaven must be like because we are having too much fun.
We really was. It was Adele was amazing. Definitely glad that we got to see her. I'm so glad
Mhm.
that we got to share that opportunity together because it really was magical. It really was magical. So magical that everyone ended up fucked up by the end of the night because we ended up going to Piranha afterwards and and having a couple drinks at Piranha, and then they came out with the dancers and their hot pink thongs on.
Yes.
Uh, and I emphasize on the hot pink because Auntie Dawon didn't even remember the color of the thongs. She
I was
kept
like,
calling them
neon green.
neon green. she, she didn't remember anything.
I
Y'all,
was
we ordered.
I was first of all, I was surprised at the amount of stuffery that was going on because like listen, not everybody has to have like, you know, 9, 10, 12 inches of dick and, 2-pound balls. Just saying. So it's not that bad, but like I always feel a certain kind of way when you're going and we weren't going there to see. I didn't even know there were going to be
I
strippers there or
didn't even.
whatever,
Yeah.
or not strippers, but dancers because they weren't stripping. They
Hmm.
were literally just walking around in thongs.
Hmm.
And then there was a point where they all did like a show and they're dancing on boxes and all that kind of stuff. But I'm looking and I'm just like that ain't real.
Hmm.
That is not
That's
real.
plastic.
Like
Hmm.
that's not how it's supposed to look. Like
Even the way it drooped or how it hung, it was like it did like this, like it went down and then curved out, and I was like, "What? Huh?
and the
Huh?"
shape, it was like, yeah, it yeah, it wasn't real.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But
But
w- but we ended up leaving, and as we're leaving, we're like, damn, we need to eat because we didn't have dinner before the concert. Okay, so y'all,
No wonder
mind you,
y'all were
we all
fucked
had
up.
like a burger. We had a burger in between being picked up from the concert, from the airport,
yeah,
and the concert. That's all that we had.
yeah,
Mm.
So we ordered Taco Bell on the way home to have it meet us there when we get there. And honey, let me tell you, that food got there, and Auntie Dewan was like, "They didn't get all my food. That's all right. I'm gonna eat this Mexican pizza." So we start watching RuPaul's Drag Race, and she gets up silently, mind you, okay, while the episode's going, and she just walks into the room, and all you hear is someone jump on the bed, and Adam goes, "Y'all, she done threw the pizza in the bed and jumped in the bed." So Adam gets up and goes in the room and is like, "Dewan, you gonna join us?" Dewan says nothing. Nothing. So Fizz and I looked at each other. We just gonna eat our Crunch Wrap Supremes because we so hungry. Girl,
first of
she was
all,
down. She was down.
I remember nothing. I don't even remember leaving Piranha. I don't remember, blacked out. And I am, for those of you that know me, y'all listening to the podcast right now, like a lot of y'all that know me and have been out with me, I'm the queen of the Irish goodbyes. When I'm too far gone, I go home and I go right to bed. You are not going to find me being messy. I'm not going to be falling down. I'm not going to be throwing up. No, she doesn't do that. She has something in her
They're called
spirit says,
standards. They're
go to
called
bed.
standards. They're called standards. You've got standards.
Whatever it is. I mean, you said it, I didn't. But he goes to bed. She goes to bed. All the Chicago crew, y'all know. Go out with Dawon. At some point, she will be gone. You will look around and she'll be there 1 second, gone the next.
Gone the next.
Don't say goodbye to anybody. Just gone.
Bitch, you were really gone in 60 seconds. That's literally how long it took.
But how about we ordering Uber Eats for Taco Bell while we're in an Uber going to the place? They delivered the food, from what I understand. This is what they tell me. They delivered we got there, and then the Uber or the delivery got there with the food, and then I ended up having to sign for it, right, or something.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't remember.
She didn't remember. Literally, the next morning we wake up and she's making breakfast, y'all. She got her. Was it a katana on, or what was it called?
My little kimono.
A kimono. Yeah, there you go. She had a little kimono on. Girl, she got some music going. She got the eggs and the bacon going. Like nothing had ever happened. And so I'm like, how are you doing? She's like, I'm doing good. I was like, girl, that Taco Bell was good. She was like, we had Taco Bell last night. She looked over there at the garbage. She was like, oh, wouldn't have known had I not seen the garbage of Taco Bell over there. So that led me to believe, oh, guess what? You know what that means? She ate that Mexican piece in the bed, bitch, because it was gone. Because had she not, she would have definitely remembered that there was some Taco Bell, because it would have been everywhere in the room. Girl. And then, we were so tired the next day, y'all. We just literally just chilled by the house. We took a nap, just played some games, just relaxed all day. And it was perfect. The trip was literally perfect. So now, bitch, can't wait for Paris.
When's the last time that you saw each other in person?
20.
That was before the pandemic. 28 or 2018.
Wow.
No.
19.
2019. Yeah.
2019. It was before the pandemic. All four of us. Yeah.
Wow.
That was Fizz's birthday here in New York. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been a minute. So we making up for lost time. But can't wait. I love seeing you. It was a great time.
It was sad saying goodbye. It really was. I was just like,
oh, that's the worst.
We need to figure out a way to get you to New York.
Not them talking. Years. They were doing the Lord's work. Let me tell you, I wasn't even here for the conversation, but they were hyping Fizz up about applying for this job in New York. And apparently Fizz was telling them that I had also said this. So I entered in the conversation. And I was like, see, told you, we can do it. And he literally goes, see, I told y'all Jerrell has been pushing New York. And I'm like, girl, I'm trying to get over there. I'm trying. No shade to Seattle. Okay. But I'm ready for a little bit more tempo, and I'm ready to be around my Judies. You know,
Could you imagine? Could you imagine the Golden Girl oration of it all? If all of us were together at least in the same, like one region. State away from each other. Come on now.
So wait, who would be who though? Who would be who though? Which Golden Girl
Dorothy.
Would you be? Me. Okay. Jerrell?
Yeah.
Rose.
No, I think I'm more Sophia. Cause I'm always shading bitches.
Yeah. And ready to fight.
Yeah.
And burning down homes.
Yeah, I'm Sophia. Yeah.
And then who would Kerel be?
He would have to be Blanche though, because he's the hoe. Not necessarily the hoe, but he'd be, looking at the naked mans and he's the one that's
always talking about sex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you would have to be Rose though, because you're the blonde girl. You pretty. You pretty.
I am, but no. I would be. It's so funny because Jerrell Owens, who was on the podcast last week, and Lewis, we were talking about this a while back, and Lewis is straight up Rose 100% every day. I actually literally just saw him at the gym, and so I think I would be either Dorothy or Sophia, but I do have my blonde moments, so it just depends on the day.
I can see you being a Dorothy as well. Yeah, because you can also be quick with the tongue as well too.
Quick.
And very kind of to the point, but like I ain't here for it. Patience this short. Yeah.
Speaking of Dawon, there's that Golden Girls restaurant that's in the Seaport. They close in March
Oh,
if you want
really?
to go sometime. Yeah, it's like a
Let's
Golden
go.
Girls scenery, whatever. So yeah, let's
Let's
try to figure
go.
that out. Yeah.
I'm down. I'm totally down.
All right.
Okay, I
Well,
guess
I
we gotta.
think this is
We
We
didn't
better
talk
yeah.
start.
about this. Like,
Right. So let's go ahead. So we'll take a quick little tea break and we'll come back and do Ask Your Aunties.
We interrupt this episode for very important information.
That's right. You've been asking for it for a long time, and we have heard you.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Yo,
Yo,
aunties,
aunties
have
got merch.
merch! Hey, that's right. You know what? We got tees, we got long tees, we got sweatshirts, we got fanny packs, there's just a whole gamut of stuff out there. So go and check that out.
We are so appreciative of your love and support, and we are so excited to launch it. Girl, where can we find us at?
Ma'am, they can head right over to minorityReport.com to check out the selection.
That's right. That's MINORITEA report.com.
Woo! I'm about to go get me some myself.
All right, welcome back. So, guess what time it is?
Ask your
your
auntie.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. So these past few years have been difficult, but in the past 6 months or so, I've gone downhill fast. I don't see the point in trying anything. I used to write and create things, but just stopped after my mom died in 2018. Since then, the state of the world has gotten worse and worse. I'm going to be 35 soon, and I'm feeling like I've wasted all of my time. What's the point in creating anything now? I lack all drive and motivation. I want to create, but it seems pointless. I can't seem to make myself start. And if I do, I don't continue for more than a few days or weeks if I'm lucky. I wanted to write you to ask your opinion on finding motivation when all of your creativity, your drive, and hope seem to have disappeared. It feels gone, but maybe that's just buried. I don't know how to get it back. What should I do?
Damn, that's tough. But Linda, I want you to go because we've been kind of having some conversations. So you take the mic first, love.
Thank you. Well, first, my condolences, and I'm sorry about the loss of, your mom and a parent. That's tough. And tough is an understatement. Wow. I just, Jerrell and I recently had some conversations about Black mental health and some things that I kind of experienced last month. And I think the first step has already been taken. So to whomever wrote this, I think just acknowledging like, hey, like I'm in this space. It doesn't necessarily feel the greatest. Even acknowledging and wanting to get to a better space is already some traction in the right direction. And what I feel might be right for me might be, different for you. I think the most important thing is to, if this is the right decision for you, to talk to somebody about it and seek out some of those resources when it comes down to therapy. If you work for an organization that offers an employee assistance program, a lot of these EAPs provide counseling that's a part of your compensation, where you can see a therapist for a few sessions to kind of at least start this journey of figuring out like how do you get to this different space and wanting to get back to some of the things that are important to you, creating and doing the things that you love. So I think that's probably the first step. The loss of a parent is something like it's I don't even know how to put it in words, because I think about my dad a lot. Like I wish my dad were here to see all of the like really amazing athletic things that I'm doing within my career. And there's always going to be that void and that just that emptiness, and sometimes that emptiness kind of comes and goes. Sometimes I'm really happy, and sometimes I'm like, damn, like this sucks. I don't really have any other insightful things to say. The only thing that I can really say is you reaching out, writing this, looking for some sort of start to this journey of wanting to be in a better space, I think is like key. It's super important. Sometimes you just got to write out how you feel just so that you know that, like, I'm putting this on paper, I'm expressing how I feel, and I know that there's something going on and I want to get to a better space. So I think that's just the first thing that I'm thinking of in regards to wanting to get to that better space and get back to where you want to be. Jerrell, Dawon.
How about you go, Dawon?
I 100% agree with Landon and the notion of, seeking out someone to talk to about the things that are going on. I can't sit here and try to diagnose, what is going on that's causing the blockage. But I think, you probably know better than anyone else, what things are still unresolved. That's becoming a challenge for you to dive into and be consistent with your creativity. And I think, part of your creativity is being, tied to just happiness within your own life. And it sounds like, based on some of the things that you
Um, I agree with both of you. Again, I don't want to diagnose either, but also, as someone that's currently going through grief and the ups and downs of grief, I know how that can really affect just how you find joy. Like, there are days where, like, I, I can't, like, there are days where I feel like I feel guilty that I get to, see certain things, and my best friend, don't get to experience these things. So for there, I don't want to lean into the joy of being able to appreciate and still have these things. Um, but for me personally, I've had to try to lean into, keeping that person's spirit alive by enjoying those things for her, since she can no longer do those things. But grief, affects people in different ways. I there are times where I feel like I go days and I'm like, I'm good, and then all of a sudden one day hits and boom, it's like all over again. Um, but I think, to what, both Landon and Dewan were saying, I think it is very important that you talk to someone. Um, it's hard to navigate on our own, and you mentioned that you're 35. We're all in this same kind of age range where, we also didn't necessarily grow up in times where talking about these struggles that a lot of us face, that are actually more common in life than we were told growing up, are things that we're having to learn in real time. you know like I say adulting is the scam of the lifetime, because everyone said, when you can do that when you were grown. And guess what? You can't do that when you grown, because in order to do that, you got to do A, B, and C. So there's a lot of scamming that comes with being an adult, that we are learning as we go, because of the fact that these aren't the things that were taught to us that we should be prepared to be able to handle and deal with, as adults. So I say, talk to someone and talk to friends to also kind of help normalize, that feeling. One other thing that says though, I suffer from anxiety, and my anxiety can be crippling and so bad to the point where literally all I want to do is like sit in a dark room and not do anything. And so outside of taking like, antidepressants and anti-anxiety medicines, like things that have helped me to kind of get back in a rhythm are focusing on little things that I can control daily to get myself back into a habit, to kind of stay back on track, to kind of stay a little bit grounded. So doing simple things like making sure just to simply make my bed every day. It's not a huge thing, but that's given me some type of consistency. So when I think about doing something else, I don't feel like that's impossible, because I can say, hey, at least I'm doing this consistently every day, so I can do this consistently as well. This is actually possible. So finding little things like that to kind of help motivate you. Maybe you have to just start with something small and then build your way up to those big creative things that you used to do once upon a time. Those skills didn't leave you. Those are God-given talents, meaning that they are going to be with you. So yeah, I would say maybe they are just buried, and you just have to figure out how to let them shine and be, part of your everyday like they were once again before.
And also one last piece, don't put this journey of moving through grief and this journey on a timeline. Don't say, hey, I need to feel better, or I need to be doing something and be back to myself at a certain point. We all go through grief, and we all go through some of these challenges in our own time. So don't feel rushed. I know that there's this notion like, yes, we want to feel better fast, but this is one of those things where you can't put your grief and what you're feeling on a timeline and say, oh, a year from now, I need to be feeling better. Because feeling better, what we think feeling better now might be different than later on. Like when I lost, when everything kind of happened with my niece back in 2019, I put my grief on a timeline. I was like, okay, I'll be fine in 3 months. And 3 months still wasn't enough, to the point where like I wasn't getting out of bed. I was laying in bed, staring at a wall, going into work late because I just could not physically move myself out of bed. And that was 3 months. That was 3 months after everything. So, as you go through this journey, just know like we are with you. Feel free to like, reach out to us, whether it be, email, if we can, direct you to some resources when it comes down to some of the things that we talked about, but definitely thinking of you. And if there's anything that we can do, please reach out.
Absolutely. That was a good question. That was a really good question. So, hey, community, continue to send your Ask Your Aunties to us. We need some new ones. We're 2 months into 2023. We could still definitely use some more. But continue to send them at aya@minorietyreport.com. Or you can DM us your questions if, going to your Outlook is too much work and you just happen to be strolling on IG. All right. But would love to hear from you. And again, we don't have to disclose who you are. We can keep it anonymous as well too. But we'll love to just be able to, allow our space to continue to do that, because these spaces need to be happening for us. So
yeah.
Yes. So what else do we have on the topics, ladies, here? It seems like we've been at it for a while, but did we want to talk about this last episode of RuPaul's Drag Race?
I feel like it is not worth talking about.
Oh.
And we watched it together twice.
Yeah. Twice. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was... All I want to say is that they should have read Mistress down, because that outfit, we have literally seen them drag people for worse. And that she had on a fucking adult diaper.
The quilted panties and the chaps with the bell bottom
was
the
not
quilted chaps and bell bottoms.
That was not it.
Yeah.
Honey, that was not it. And just can't even. That's the only thing that I really wanted to say. Other than that, meh of an episode.
Yeah. For
And
those who aren't watching it or whatever, they kind of rehashed one of the things that
I thought
they.
you said we wasn't going to talk about
Okay, all right.
it. Look,
On to
she's.
Are we, look, are we?
It's up to you. No, it's up to you. It's up to you. We can go for it.
Next, you want to talk about Cece, my best friend?
Yeah, girl. Oh, that was the other thing too, y'all, because you know we love to drag Ciara. Not Auntie Dawon dancing to Ciara Piranha though, y'all. Twice. To
What?
Two different Ciara
Stop the
songs.
process. Stop
Yes,
the process.
bitch.
Yo, that
Yes.
edible must have been good. That edible
Hey,
must have
girl.
been good.
Let us be clear. I never said that her hits weren't hitting. What I said was, why is she trying to make music still? That's
True.
what I said.
This
So
is true.
it's not like I don't like Ciara. I just don't
Mhm.
understand why she's still making music, because
Yeah.
what she's making isn't really doing anything. So
Yeah.
I can listen. I can enjoy a bop, and I will dance to some Ciara when it comes on. If it's time to level up, honey, I'm ponying up and I'm a level up. But not this other stuff. And not her.
but
And not her today being in the studio posting something, and like I'm seeing on Twitter, why is Ciara trending for music? How?
that it actually sounded kind of good though. I'm excited to hear it. It reminded me a little bit of like, you know,
I'd give it a listen.
Ciara, huh? I'll give it a. It reminded me of fuck. What's the like the work Ciara area where she had work and then she had like ride and stuff like that. Like,
Yep.
I was like, okay, this is the
It's-
Ciara that I remember
it's like
that
groovy.
had those bops at the
It's
yeah.
groovy. It's very like it's very leaning more into like the R&B side of things, with just a little bit
Yeah.
of like that Atlanta poppin' lockin', pussy poppin' kind of thing.
Yeah, but let me tell you, I'm not gonna get my hopes up.
Mm.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up. I'm gonna wait till that song to come out, and then I'm gonna decide on whether or not I'm gonna like it.
You know what it's gonna
But on
do?
other-
It's gonna float and then coast.
Stop.
It
Stop.
prove me wrong.
Stop.
Prove me wrong.
I hope she does. I hope she does.
I'll
Did
be
she
the
say when
first
she
one.
was? Did she say when this was dropping?
No.
No, she was just in the studio and decided to post a clip.
Dawon is unimpressed.
Very. Speaking of other things that Auntie Dawon might not be impressed about as well too. You hear about that show Queen's Court with Tamar Braxton and Evelyn from Basketball Wives and Nivea?
I haven't heard of it.
They are doing a reality dating show where they are going to be looking for love. And it's going to be, you know, a dating show with the three of them, and they'll be going on multiple dates with guys who are like in their 30s to 50s or whatever. And yeah, I don't know who ordered this, but this can get sent back to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a no for me, dog.
I mean, I like a good kind of like reality show, you know. And honestly, if they would have nixed the whole dating aspect and just did kind of like another version of like, you know, like the Basketball Wives / you know, like Real Housewives, but just with those three, that would be dope.
Yeah.
That would be that franchise that, because I think the three of them personality wise are so dynamic and interesting or whatever that, you know, that will be some interesting television. But to see them out there dating these people, and it's like, okay, it's three of them and they're dating all these people, and what? Like, we're supposed to be interested in watching you.
We've seen this show before.
Date people that you ain't gonna be with a year from now. Like, come on now.
Honestly, like we've seen this style of show before. The only big difference is that the people who are the main three people that are dating are celebrities. But other than that, we've seen this done before.
Yeah.
So, and we know it doesn't work. So, I don't know. I think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be that interesting, I'm just going. Let me tell you, I watch The Bachelorette just to watch the men. I don't care about that bitch getting in love. I just want to see if there's anybody fine on there. Who do I need to follow on Instagram? So that's all I. That's all I'm gonna be tuning in to see.
I low key want to see another reboot of I Love New York, because one thing New York is going to do, she's going to give you some good TV. And if there was a dating show that I would like to watch, I would like to see her show, because it's going to be a whole mess. A whole mess. The HBIC, come on now.
That is something I would love to see as well too.
I would love to see that.
I forgot about that.
With all the men that she gave names and
yeah,
like, and that show was like what, 10, 15 years ago?
At least 10 years ago.
So,
like that's old. That's old.
I would. That's a show that's a person who I would like to see, because I feel like her personality is big enough. It's like The Flavor of Love. Like, it was her personality alone is big enough to carry that whole show. Because it's not even about the dating. It's just about who won't get cussed out this week in this
antics.
moment.
100%. Yeah. I love that all those like clips from like the trash reality TV shows from back in the day are like starting to trend again. Cause girl, the episode of Flavor Flav where she was like, "You want some chapstick?
Some lip chap.
Some lip chap. You want some lip chap?"
Girl, we were just talking about that in Vegas. I was like, every time I hold my knife like this, I always think of New York. Scheming and trying to like it mentally sabotage people.
Girl.
Good morning. Good morning. You could choke. I love her. Girl, I love her. She's good TV.
Took me out. Took me out. Yeah. Speaking of other things too, I saw in the news. Y'all hear about that man? this poor man. He thought he booked a flight to Sydney, Australia, and he ended up in Montana.
No.
Girl, he booked a flight to Sydney, and he thought he was going to Sydney, Australia, and ended up in Sydney, Montana, bitch. And he posted, girl, he posted face. He was so mad. He was on the side of the window like,
now listen.
This ain't where
Now listen, after working for an airline, you can't sit there and tell me that these mofos at the gate don't say the state after the city. And it don't say it on the board.
But how did he think the timing? Just the timing of like
the duration of the flight.
Right. Like, okay, you get on a flight and then it leaves off. Like, I get it. If you're flying from like the United States to Australia, then you're like, okay, well, I'm kind of like, depending on which way you're going, you either fly forward in time or backwards in time in a sense. Like, for example, when I flew to South Korea, you lose a day going there. But then when you fly back, you leave at like 12 o'clock and then you land at 1 p.m. Like literally you leave 12 o'clock there, but you land at 1 p.m. So you got the whole damn day. So, I could kind of get there, but nobody's checking your passport. The flight is only X number of hours, not double digit hours. Like, what? How does that happen?
And there's not a lot of like big airports in Montana, so y'all gonna fly some regional jets going up into there. So what made you think like you was flying to Sydney on a small ass jet?
Girl, now let's be honest, y'all. Now y'all know there are a lot of people in our community that don't go nowhere. Okay, that don't have the luxury of the experience to really do a lot of traveling. Okay. From what I read, this was a man, taking a chance and doing a big trick and trip for the first time, trying to treat himself.
How much was it?
How
much was it?
How much was with the flight?
How much was the ticket? Did it say?
Oh, it didn't say in the article that I read.
Okay.
But,
not it being a black man too.
Yes, that's what I was saying. That's what I said in our community. That's what I said in our community. Because some people don't leave. Some people stay in the hood. Some people don't leave. All they know is the neighborhood. All they know is the block.
They said Burnett says he realized his mistake when he boarded a small plane and only saw a handful of other passengers. I saw a
Did
little
I
plane
not just
with
say
like
that?
9 passengers and wondered, how is this going to get me to Australia? How is this a story? He's like, Montana didn't have kangaroos. It had Kerel. I'm done.
That is
What?
hilarious.
Girl, that took me out. But I will say this though, I know this is why I wanted to bring it up. That's actually one of my nightmares. Is like booking a ticket somewhere and going to the wrong destination.
Mm-mm.
I just one of my nightmares.
And he was flying from New York. You know what? You don't deserve to go to Sydney.
Oh, he went to the right city he deserves to go to.
Right.
You get what you pay for. Ain't that what they say? I want to know that price. Like Landon said. How much he paid for. Yeah.
I'm actually now I'm going down a rabbit hole. It's like
Here we go. Here we go.
This is crazy.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about one more thing. Let's get going because we out of time. We've been doing this for a minute. But I saw, Dawon, that you said that Pharrell is going to be the creative director for Louis Vuitton.
Pharrell was he's the basically the predecessor for Louis Vuitton. So that'll be pretty interesting. You know, Pharrell's always had kind of a very interesting relationship, you know, with fashion, and he's always kind of like represented his California cool kind of like vibe, and he has his own fashion line, Billionaire Boys Club, and it kind of represents that like skater, you know, Southern California or Northern California kind of like vibe and whatnot. So it'll be very interesting to see like, you know, how this role presents itself and how that influences Louis Vuitton and some of the fashions that they're creating and the relationship that they have.
I love to hear that. And for a second, I had to dig in the archives too, because I was like, wait, is that the brand that be doing the blackface monkeys? That's Gucci, I believe, right?
Gucci and Balenciaga be fucking up.
Be fucking up.
All the time.
This is just to go to show that like you can hire black creatives to be in roles where you can make sure that representation is present in those rooms. And I hope some of these other brands start recognizing just how dope our culture is and how much influence that we have on fashion as well too.
I also feel like this just opens up the conversation of like how exploitive you know, like our culture, how companies exploit our culture, you know? So like I also wonder, you know, is this, you know, an opportunity just to like replace a black guy with another black? Is this an affirmative action hire? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like they got a quota that they need to maintain. They're like, oh, we lost one, so we got to get one.
Got to get him back. We got to get him back. And so, who else could we possibly get? We can't get Kanye because he's blacklisted at this point. You know, so like Pharrell kind of makes sense. He's like another like fashion guy. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out and like whether or not. It'd also be interesting to see like through what lens he's able to influence some of the designs that'll come, from LV.
Yeah, I think it'll be cute.
We'll see.
Hopefully they can give us some nigga prices so that bitch can start afford us some things. Right. Come on, Pharrell. You look, we see each other, girl. Like, but our pocketbooks don't see eye to eye. So. Let us be able to afford some shit, please.
Look,
help a nigga out.
After Adele, pretty soon Beyonce, and then Janet a little bit later in the year. Like, ain't nobody got time. Anybody got no money for anything?
None. Let me tell you, I bought tickets to go see this black queer artist Duran Bernard, and I'm seeing him tomorrow. And when I tell you, I screamed when them tickets said $20. I said, "Thank you, Jesus, girl." I was hyped. I said $20. I was like, "Yes." Well, I said in the group chat, "Who want to go to this concert tomorrow?" I'm getting tickets. Girl, I was excited to see them $20 prices because
Inflation
ain't it.
is raping the hell out of us. It really is, because everything is costing a bank. Honestly, like going back to the whole like, okay, we're going to see Beyonce in Paris. First of all, that is not even a subtle flex. That is a whole flex. Get
The whole
it?
flex.
But
Yeah.
the prices in Paris compared to the prices in the United States, it's like 4 times less the price.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Wow.
Yeah, because I wasn't on that podcast last week when we talked about the Beyonce concert and tickets and stuff like that. But when Matt and I were staying up until 4 o'clock in the morning, y'all, to get these damn tickets, okay, because we had to get them. We had to jump in the queue during the France hours of daytime. So we logged in at midnight, didn't get in until 1 a.m. And then it took us another 2.5 hours, 3 hours just to get the tickets.
Wow.
Yeah. So it took us 4.5 hours to get the tickets. And even then, we still weren't even able to get like everyone together. So we got like 4 here and 2 there. But everyone's going to be in the building at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But the prices for like the Club Renaissance, like after taxes, they were like $500. They were going for double that here in the States.
Yeah.
The tickets that we got that are the group of 4, they're like the level 100. So they're still like right there on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right? What, like 150?
Yeah.
Them things were going for $500.
Yeah.
Like here in the States.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how much the prices were. And little hear my ass being like, I'm gonna see her twice, because Dawon had asked like a couple episodes like, who has seen her perform at one part of this of the tour and then seen how it is at the other end of the tour, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. I want to do that. I'm gonna see her twice. Nigga, please.
Yeah.
Look, because I did the pre-sales, so I wanted to I was like, I'm excited for the pre-sale codes. I got 2 of them. I got 2 pre-sales, and I was like, who want these pre-sale codes? Because I can't go, so I'll just give you my login information. You get yourself those tickets and transfer them over. Do what you need to do, because I ain't using this pre-sale. It's gonna go to waste.
Yeah.
So I ended up hooking a couple of people up with my pre-sale codes.
I just for context, I got tickets both in Chicago and in Pittsburgh, sitting on the floor, literally right next to the stage. And they were $650 a piece, like on the floor by the stage. Honey, now those things are like $2,000.
Girl.
$2,000.
And that's probably on the tickets the seats. That's the seats the furthest away from the stage.
And by the way, that's like the original purchase price, not the resale purchase price that you typically find.
Yeah.
So by the time the scalpers and the people that had scooped up whatever tickets that they're going to get, those tickets are going to be crazy expensive.
Yeah. Like if you didn't, I feel bad for anyone who didn't get a pre-sale code and get tickets before those scalpers got a hold of them, because can't nobody afford those tickets at a resale value.
Yeah.
You just can't.
It's a lot. It's way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, it's way too much. So, but we in that bitch.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll be up in there, and I plan to get cussed the fuck out in French, because I'll be right there in the club Renaissance, pushing bitches out.
Girl,
the
what
like,
if we showed up in them 2 old biddies that was at the Adele concert right next to us, honey? Be like,
please, dear God,
we already know. You already know what this is going to be. So,
I honestly, I don't think those 2 old biddies like black people. So I think that had a factor to do with it a little bit too, because
they were drinking too much MAGA water, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Very gave that energy. Well, community, thank y'all for rocking with us on this one of a kind first episode without Auntie Kerel. We definitely missed her. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. But continue to keep rocking with us. Continue to follow us and share us. It is still Black History Month. Support Black-owned businesses. But continue to wash your legs, wash your hands, wash your ass.
All of it.
We will see y'all later, y'all.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.